Good morning and welcome to On the Spot News right here on Zimbabwe Daily. My name is Yvonne Mochaka and let's take a look at the news making the headlines. Citizens Coalition for Change bail hearing postponed to Thursday. Pomona contractor demands 780,000 for May. Gold coins to be introduced on the 25th of July. Shortages bite amid price controls. Parents worry about exam fee payment dates. 165,000 cross-borders arrested for committing cross-border related crimes. And in sports, Christian Eriksen, Denmark midfielder, agrees in principle to join Manchester United. And there are transfer rumors for Ronaldo, Sterling, Martinez, Depay, Broja, and Sinistera. And now for the news in detail. Slain Citizens Coalition for Change activist Mo Blessing Ali's family lawyer, Job Sikala, and Chitungwiza North MP Godfrey Stolle's bail hearing has been postponed to Thursday. The state failed to file its papers, so the court said it is not ready to proceed with the hearing today. Government has refused to table before Parliament the original contract that is signed with white commercial farmers to compensate them for land expropriated during its controversial land reform exercise. On 29 July 2020, Zimbabwe agreed to pay $3.5 billion in compensation to white farmers who lost their land as government sought to resettle landless blacks in one of the most divisive policies of the late Robert Mugabe era. On June 23 this year, legislators pressed Ncube to release the original compensation document for their scrutiny. Resolving the dispute with the farmers is seen as key to the country pulling out of the economic stagnation triggered by the farm seizures. The land grab also soured relations with multilateral lenders, while the United States and European Union imposed sanctions. The agreement is also seen as a key part of President Emmerson Mnangagwa's re-engagement strategy. Government is supposed to pay half of the compensation this month after requesting to put it off for a year in June last year. It has so far paid $1 million after state-linked Kuvimba Mining House Limited transferred the money to the farmers in the form of a dividend in June last year. President Emmerson Mnangagwa is expected to visit the Joan Marange apostolic sect in Manicaland province this week to attend the church's annual Passover. Early this year, Mnangagwa secretly visited the sect headquarters in Bocha following the death of its leader Noah Taguta. Mutare West MP Tedzai Muchimwe, who is also a senior member of the church, yesterday confirmed Mnangagwa's visit. Government Workers Union protested in Harare yesterday in an attempt to stop the Public Service Commission from taking over Premier Service Medical Aid Society, PSIMAS. Hundreds of workers yesterday picketed at the Public Service Association House along Livingstone Avenue in Harare after police armed with baton sticks and shields blocked them from leaving the area. Investigations into National Social Security Authority's General Manager Arthur Manasseh's corruption scandal have reached a crescendo, with the board sending him on leave this week to pave way for investigations. Manasseh is at the center of corruption allegations involving the plunder of funds at the institution amid reports that he received a $750,000 housing loan and continues to take a monthly $2,500 housing allowance to service the loan, despite the fact that he already owns it. Sources at the corruption-ravaged institution have since alleged that the top executive received 5 luxury vehicles. Other top-line executives are said to have received loans ranging from $60,000 to $100,000 and top-of-the-range Land Rover Discovery vehicles. Meanwhile, the NASA board yesterday appointed Charles Shava as acting general manager after suspending Arthur Manasseh, who is on leave pending corruption investigation at the institution. Shava was NASA's director for occupational safety and health. Parents and guardians of children writing National Public Examination November are concerned over the day when the local currency fees are set and the very narrow 1 week window given to pay these fees. ZIMSEC exam fees are paid in local currency with a subsidy for those at government, local council, and non-profit mission schools, as this was laid down when they were announced. But the fees were set in US dollars to be converted at the interbank rate on the date of payment. The latest move sets the payment period at just 1 week, from July 22 to July 29, with the interbank rate on July 22 giving the conversion rate. Police said they had arrested 165,000 people for committing cross-border related crimes. The police posted on Twitter that the cumulative number of arrests since 30 March 2020 stands at 1.8 million. Over 200 people arrested countrywide on Operation No to Cross-Border Crimes, bringing the cumulative number of arrests to 163,424 this year. ZANU-PF will face tough competition from the Triple C in the Gokwe Kabuyuni constituency by-elections slated for August 27. The seat fell vacant following the death of ZANU-PF's Leonard Chikomba in a statutory instrument at an in ZANU-PF's Leonard Chikomba, in a statutory instrument of an extraordinary government gazette published last Friday. Mnangagwa set July 22 as the date on which the nomination court will sit at Gweru Magistrate Court to receive nomination of candidates for election for the constituency. Manufacturers and retailers have reportedly deliberately stopped supplying basic commodities such as mealie meal, cooking oil, and sugar, resulting in shortages as government's pricing regulations begin to backfire. Last week, President Emerson Mnangagwa used the Presidential Powers Act to ban retailers from selling goods at exchange rates above 10% of the prevailing interbank rate, with those violating the ban liable to a fine of up to $20 million. The local currency has been trading at 366 against the greenback at the interbank rate and 750 on the power market. Despite government pronouncement, the prices of basic foodstuffs have been spiking upwards, with bread going up from $640 to $690 on Sunday. A SNAP survey has shown that bread, mealie meal, cooking oil, and sugar were now in short supply. Some retailers are demanding US dollars only for the goods. The total number of cattle slaughtered during the first quarter of this year slightly fell by 1% to 82,350 compared to the previous period, as demand defies an escalating economic crisis. A hyperinflation scourge, which has returned to haunt consumers in the past few months, has hammered disposable incomes, and consumption has been tepid across products. But Zimbabwe, with a 5.5 million national cattle herd, is one of the region's biggest markets for beef. Apart from high consumption rates, Zimbabwe was one of the region's biggest beef exporters before a foot and mouth outbreak in the 1990s saw it losing lucrative European Union markets. Georgionics BV has threatened to take Harare City Council to court after it failed to pay the May invoice of 780,000 United States dollars. Harare has refused to settle the bill after resolving to suspend the $320 million agreement for the management of the Pomona dam site until a special committee set up by Harare Mayor Jacob Mafume looks into the terms of the deal. Last month, Harare councillors voted to have the controversial contract cancelled, citing breaches of procurement processes and failure to consult Harare residents. Initially, Harare City Council agreed to pay $22,000 per day in a waste-to-energy deal at the dam site. In a strongly worded letter to the council, Georgionics BV Executive Chairperson Dalish Nguwaya said the City Council had shown no interest to pay the bill. He said the outstanding invoice would incur 12% interest and claimed that the purported suspension of the deal was null and void. Former finance minister in the government of national unity, Tendai Biti, has said the introduction of gold coins by the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe was a ploy to transfer wealth from the poor to political elites. The gold coins will be available for sale to the public from 25 July 2022 in both local currency and United States dollars, and also other foreign currencies at a price based on the prevailing international price of gold and the cost of production. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe says its planned gold coins to be introduced as an alternative investment option and inflation hedge on July 25 will be traded in both currencies. Meanwhile, the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange Limited, a subsidiary of the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, has introduced broker controlled accounts in order to ensure convenience in trading on the United States dollar dominated stocks trading platform. A brokerage account is an arrangement in which an investor deposits money with a licensed brokerage firm which places trades on behalf of the customer. The 2022 tobacco season has progressed well, with the average price being firmer because of low volumes compared to last year. This was attributed to unpredictable weather patterns and erratic rainfalls, which heavily affected production of the crop. According to the Tobacco Industry and Marketing Board, statistics show that the average price has increased to $3 per kg this year compared to 2.73 US dollars last year, same period. Average hotel room occupancy across Zimbabwe in the first quarter of this year rose to 34% year on year from 14% in the same period last year, largely benefiting from the easing of the country's COVID 19 restrictions. The occupancy level improved by 20% as all regions in the country experienced growth ranging from 7% to 37%, with Bulawayo recording the highest growth to an occupancy rate above 50%. A buoyant tourism sector comes at a time governments globally have loosened the COVID-19 travel and gathering restrictions, with some authorities in Europe scraping the mandatory requirements to wear masks in public spaces. The Zimbabwe Republic Police has urged individuals and firms authorized to possess firearms to stop carrying and displaying firearms in public places as envisaged in the Firearms Act. In a statement, Police National Spokesperson Assistant Inspector Paul Nyati said police will revoke licenses of those who violate the law. The statement is issued against the backdrop of rising cases of armed robberies across the country. In other news, Gokwe Nembuzia legislator Mayor Wajgat Jena has hit back at Grain Millers Association chairperson Tafadzwa Musarara, who accused the lawmaker of bullying him out of a grain transportation deal. The GMAZ boss recently mounted a high court application against Wajgat Jena, who is also the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Lands chairperson, claiming that the MP illegally grabbed his association's business opportunity. The association chairperson also submitted that in elbowing him out, Wajgajena exhibited his interest in the cause of bias, malice, or corruption in the manner he conducted himself throughout the proceedings. Wajgajena's committee ordered an inquiry into the use of 28.2 million United States dollars availed to GMAZ by government for wheat imports, and with resolution presented before Parliament in May 2020. One of National Hero Air Chief Marshal Perenshi's children has hauled her siblings to the High Court demanding that they undergo DNA test to ascertain whether they are his biological offsprings before they benefit from his estate. Tanaka Mshamiri wants Rufaro, Stephanie Shiri, and Tawanda Zulu to undergo DNA tests to ascertain whether they were the late hero's biological children before they benefited from the estate. And in sport news, Denmark midfielder Christian Eriksen has agreed in principle to sign for Manchester United on a free transfer. The 30-year-old short-term contract at Brentford ended last month. It is believed Eriksson, who is still to have his medicals, was chosen between Thomas Frank's side and United, but the lure of playing for the latter swung his decision. The deal offered to him is thought to be a 3-year contract, which is being prepared. Chelsea are considering a move for Manchester United forward Cristiano Ronaldo, who has informed the Red Devils he wants to leave this summer. Ronaldo, 37, could be willing to join Chelsea, but the Blues are yet to decide whether to make a formal offer for the Portugal international. Barcelona president Joan Laporta and agent Jorge Mendes are also discussing the possibility of former Real Madrid icon Ronaldo making a sensational return to La Liga. Ronaldo is also willing to take a significant pay cut to his £500,000 a week deal at Manchester United. Chelsea are in advanced talks with Manchester City for England forward Raheem Sterling, who is valued at around 50 million by the Premier League champions. AC Milan are working on a deal to sign Chelsea's Moroccan winger Hakim Ziyech on loan. Manchester United officials met Ajax counterparts at the weekend to discuss a deal for Argentina international defender Lisandro Martinez, 24, with the Red Devils offering 39.6 million. Tottenham have made an inquiry for Barcelona's Netherlands international forward Memphis Depay, 28, who can leave the new camp for £17 million. Everton and West Ham have both registered their interest in signing Albanian international Armando Broja, 20, from Chelsea, with the striker valued at 30 million. Newcastle remain interested in signing France international winger Moussa Dembélé, 22, from Bayer Leverkusen. Leeds United are in talks to sign 23-year-old Colombian winger Luis Nistera from Feyenoord. Leeds are also closing in on a 20 million deal, including add-ons for RB Leipzig's USA international Tyler Adams as a replacement for Calvin Phillips after the England international joined Manchester City. The Elland Road side are in talks too with Club Brugge over a move for 21-year-old Belgian forward Charles de Catalier. Brighton are keen on Argentine left back Nicolas Tagliafico, 29, who is available from Ajax for just 3.3 million. Nottingham Forest have opened a 30 million deal, including add-ons, to sign French defender Moussa Niakate from Mainz. And West Ham have had a 20 million bid for Belgian international midfielder Amadou Onana rejected by Lille. Crystal Palace, Southampton, and Nottingham Forest are all interested in former England youth international midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White from Wolves. And sports news brings us to the end of our bulletin. We take on the headlines once again. Sikala Sitole's bail hearing postponed to Thursday. Pomona contractor demands 780,000 for May. Gold coins to be introduced on the 25th of July. Shortages bite amid price controls. Parents worry about exam fee payment date. And in sports, Christian Eriksen, Denmark midfielder, agrees in principle to join Manchester United. And transfer rumors for Ronaldo, Sterling, Martinez, Depay, Broja, and Sinistera. Thank you so much for tuning in for our on the sport news right here on Zimbabwe Daily. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of day.